How's it going, JC? You know what? You and I think the last time that we were together in a studio
CFOX.
with CFOX back in the day, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's been some time.
Yeah, it's been
Last
years,
time I
man.
talked to Danko, right?
Right? That's it. I recognize your name. Now that I see you, I'm like, okay, recognize the face.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, like it's been Danko. So when they're like, "Hey, can we, you want to do JC?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, do I want to do JC?" It's been too long, man. So, talk about an exciting time for your band. Like new album, Electric Sounds. It's out on Friday. I would think besides the touring, this has got to be like some of the, and that's what it's all about. It's creating for you guys, for the fans, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty consistent. We put out a record every 2 years, so
Yeah.
we've just been touring all the time. Although we don't tour in Canada as much as we'd like to, but we're lucky that we are wanted overseas more and have a market and you know and are able to do what we do like over here so we can keep putting records out, so it's great.
hmm And I wonder what is it about the UK? What is it about Europe that loves your band so much? Because it's
Well,
definitely
we
there, right?
came here and we started working with a small label out of Sweden, and we're still working with them, so we just it's I could go into saying that there's lots of things, but at the end of the day, we've been touring here for so much, and people know our songs here and they hear them on the radio here.
Yeah,
So it's kind
that
of,
helps.
it's that kind of, you coming from radio, these things, how it kind of goes. You get played on the radio, people recognize you. And there's obviously, we've gotten lots of great radio play in Canada, but it just hasn't, it's not to say that we're not successful in Canada. We do well where we do, but we just have a bigger base here in Europe. So we're lucky to have that.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
always, JC, with this new Danko Jones album, Electric Sounds. I mean, there's some excellently heavy riffs and grooves on this new album. Did any of the songs come together like quite quickly? Because sometimes they do, right?
Yeah. I mean, nothing come when we write the records is there's no divine inspiration. We just keep working. Like you have to treat it like you just have to keep working at your craft, at your songwriting, and you keep doing it every day.
Mm,
And the fact that this record, like the previous record, was done during the pandemic, so we kind of, was that whole isolation and being apart, and we weren't able to really rehearse. So I kind of took that like, oh, well, this could be a test to kind of try and do something different. So we were able to do that in somewhat of a remote setting where I did all the demos on my computer. Then we brought it to Eric, and then we had all the guides for what we wanted to do for the songs, and then we recorded the song. So then for this record here, none of us live in the same city. We're all far apart. So this was done pretty much over email. So Danko would send me an idea, then the day after I'd send him a finished arrangement, and then that would be the song. Because
mm.
I don't live in Canada anymore.
You're in the UK?
No, I live in Finland now.
Oh, Finland. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I
How-
live
What's it like
400.
there?
It's fall is coming.
Yeah.
There was moose out this morning when I went running, so it's pretty nice. I live next to a forest. I live in the middle of like most Finnish people live in very remote places. We're in a pretty remote spot here. So, but yeah, I mean, he would send me the songs. I'd listen to them. I'd get them together while I'd be looking at my at the crows in my backyard, and then I'd send him the finished arrangement, and then that's it. And then we're pretty. After all these years, we kind of know that the trick is to kind of know to not be married to an idea, so to say. So we just kind of know when to let it go, and when something works instantly, it works. So like for that song "Good Time," he sent me this rough idea that he had, and I just kind of took it apart, cut and pasted a bunch of stuff, added some stuff, rearranged it, sent it to him. I go, "This is it," and he's like, "Yep, this is it. Never thought this would be it." And like because originally he had that little guitar lick that's at the beginning of the song that was just going to be a solo, and I'm like, "Oh, that's too good, man. You got to keep using that throughout the thing." So
Yeah.
I mean, we've known each other for so long and we've been writing so much music. So it's going into this record, we know what we want to do, and we're not trying to take the audience on a journey where I'm going to start playing an accordion or he's going to start playing like, harp or the accordion too. Who knows? But you know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. And like, so for your band, then what are the like constant, like in studio, how do I even say this? Like, what are the things you're always doing in studio? This, because you're what, like 10 albums in now, but the same for EPs?
Yeah, 12 albums. And then we just constantly write. Like we've constantly been writing. Like even this summer we had 3 days off in Malmo in Sweden, in the southern part of Sweden. So I found a studio, then we went in to record. So we just constantly doing stuff like that, where it's like, okay, we go in and record, and then I'm lucky enough I have this is my room, my studio room here, so I can kind of do some stuff here, and we're just constantly making music. So, and it's funny to think that when we started off as a band, we were told some of the songs that we had were not good enough. We wouldn't be able to break it. So we're just kind of stubborn guys at the end of the day, because we still play those songs, and we kind of
Well, wasn't the whole
like people who told us that, we're like, oh, okay, all
right. I do remember when you guys initially launched and everything, like the plan wasn't to release music though, was it? Like,
I mean, we were naive enough to think that we could just
do that.
be a touring band, and then we realized that we had to pay for gas, and if you sell a T-shirt, you could get your $20. So I mean, but we did start off honing our chops, so to say, as a live performance band, and then now over the years we're really honed in on recording and writing songs, and being able to being fortunate enough to work with people like Garth Richardson out on the West Coast, and learning from like these great people that we work with recording wise, from Garth to Eric Ratz and to Nick Raskulinecz, and just to kind of take those experiences and build upon them, and just keep writing music.
Mm-hmm. And when did you like start playing, and what were the bands that really were the first to grab a hold of you?
I mean, the band,
like the bands, like which band?
Oh, the band started in 1996.
No. Hold up.
Oh,
so when
sorry.
When did you start playing? Like,
I started playing when I was like a teenager, and I mean, when I was a kid, it's like it was every band that you can think of that I was just listening to. I grew up in southern Italy, so I was listening to a lot of like Italian hardcore bands, and then stuff from like a lot of Iron Maiden, and then Beastie Boys came. So I was kind of all over the place. And there was even, I was more into like the punk rock side of things. So I think that kind of rubbed off on a lot of the, how we kind of carry ourselves as a band in the business and in our approach. Mm-hmm. A lot of DIY ethic.
Yeah. And when you think back to like just a little kid, like what's your first musical memory?
Well, I just remember like my parents always having a turntable and just playing music. Like, I just remember, to be honest, it was the Yellow Submarine, because that song was always on. So I thought that was like, as a kid, you're like, oh, that's funny. It's a Yellow Submarine. But then I'm like, oh, okay, the Beatles are great. Like, so you kind of grew up with that. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when what happened to John Lennon, where I was. And I'm like, okay, so just like all these like little musical things throughout life. And then
And what was the first concert you went to?
My first major concert was Pink Floyd during the Delicate Sound of Thunder tour, and I went to go see it in just outside of Naples. And it was a town called Cava dei Tirreni, and it's the first time they went back there since after the Live at Pompeii. I think that was in 67, 69.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what do you?
And I was a teenager,
specifically. Like, what do you
like a young kid?
Okay.
What's that?
What do you specifically still remember about that show?
There's lots of drugs. lots and lots of drugs. I was like, wow. And I remember they had the pig, they had the whole like setup, and it was quite, it was just getting there and like just hanging out because there was about like 14 or 15 of us that traveled from my town to Cavale di Reni to go see the concert.
Oh wow,
It was like a whole
that's amazing.
experience, a bunch of people just kind of going there, and it ended up being like a whole day thing, and that was kind of a fun, a really good experience. I think I have the tickets still at my mom's house somewhere. I'll have to see
Yeah.
when I go in October.
And you're saying you're fairly young, like just a teenager.
Yeah, I think I was like 12 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And how about your first concert? Like playing for people. What stands out from that first show?
Uh, I can't even remember when I played for people. I've played so many shows now, but I still get nervous. I got to be honest with you. I still get nervous every time I play. So
Do you really?
I think
Oh,
I think that's the thing. I think once you lose that, or at least in my head, if I lose that, then I'm going to stop doing it.
mm.
Because there's part of me that kind of goes, oh, fuck.
Just
I'm
nervous energy, like
nervous
you're
enough
excited for it.
yeah, I'm excited for it. I love
Yeah,
it still.
yeah.
So I think that's kind of when you lose that, the edges might be gone, and then you're like, all right, because you see so many people who tour, and a lot of them, they might be just doing it,
Just kind of
going through the
going through the
motions.
motions. Yeah.
Yeah, going
Yeah.
through the motions, and it's funny. Like before the pandemic, we played a show in this place in Huntington Beach in California at this small pub. We ended up playing this really small pub, no dressing room, no backstage area. It was just like, shared toilet. And I'm like, oh man, this place is kind of a dump. But the show was great. There's like
Yeah.
80 people. I was sitting out in the van with Danko going, oh man, can you believe we're playing this place? And then the pandemic came. And after the first month of the pandemic, I go, I would play 100 of those nights now. So you just
Totally
really
right.
have to appreciate, like, it's not that I didn't appreciate it that night playing that show, but there's something about that night. I just remember so vividly because I'm like, okay, well, the last show I played was that one, and
Wow.
that's it. Like, you know what I mean? So you just go, it just aligns your thinking. They're going, okay, well, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So at least we did have a good show that night, and it was fun despite everything. Like there's people falling over, the part of the PA fell down. Like, it's one of those, I think Gallagher's Pub in Huntington Beach. It's
Okay.
one of those places. It's
And like, how nice is it to be back playing shows? Like, talk about a
yeah, and
crazy
there's no
few
more
years there.
streams. Those streams were a little bit I'm not going to say the word ambitious, but they were pretty shite. Come on.
Yeah.
Watching a stream, and it's like, nah, we're not going there.
I
Come
mean,
on.
yeah, it's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
JC, I'd love to get outside of music and what you're known for just for a bit here.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what you're binge watching lately.
We watched that show Prescription. What was that?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's about the Oxycontin in the United States. It's like a 6-part series. It was
Oh,
pretty
okay.
dark and really, really good. So yeah, we
Just
saw
watching
that.
something the other day. It wasn't like anything on Netflix or anything. I just kind of
Yeah.
stumbled on it on YouTube. And there's I guess it's a pandemic in the States right now with a drug called Tranks.
Oh, I have no
And
idea. Is it something
it's
with fentanyl as well as this
no,
trank?
it's like the zombie drug is what they call it. But it gets people like all slumped over and everything. But like one of the main things that's
Oh,
happening is like fucking amputation from this drug. Like,
wow. It's so sad. Yeah, it's
dude,
just
it's
so sad.
crazy, man. It's crazy.
I mean, this was very dramatized series, although they had at the beginning of each, I think it's called Painkiller. It's on Netflix, but at the
Yeah,
beginning of each of the episodes, they had somebody who shared their real story, and it's just like, whoa, it kind of each like you're like, wow, that's heavy.
yeah,
So, yeah, I've always heard like when we tour the US, people are like, yeah, they're on Oxy. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh my god,
I
that's
know, right?
brutal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
Yeah.
brutal.
Hey, did you ever get into
Go ahead.
comic books as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, there was always the Marvel stuff that I got into. I still have my is it the Masters of the Universe, or the Marvel comics where they have all like the A to Z, and that took like 2 years to collect, I think.
Oh, no way you have that?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's in the closet.
Wow. Nice.
So I still have that, and then I got a lot more into like the manga stuff, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
not super heavy into it, but I do enjoy it.
because I think that Danko's right into that too, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he does enjoy the comics and
Yeah,
stuff. So.
yeah. What do you think of all the crazy amount of superhero movies they're making right now? Is like
I
so?
can't keep up. I mean,
Yeah,
there's been some that are great, but others I just can't keep up. And then I'm just like, it's just
it's too much.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's too much. Yeah, it's just
Which
too much.
superpower would you want to have, JC?
Uh, I don't know, man. I can't really think of a superpower that would make me happy. I'm pretty happy. I'm content as I am right now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, fair. Are you big?
Flying, I guess flying. Everybody
I mean,
wants to fly,
flying.
right?
Everybody wants
Yeah,
flying.
everyone wants to fly. So
Yeah, it'd be pretty rad
that'd
to fly.
kind of be good. So I wouldn't have to take a plane again.
But bullet speeds though, like you can fly, but only 30K an hour.
Hey, I'll take that. No problem, man.
No
Slow
way.
ride and that's it.
And how about sports? Are you a big sports guy?
Yeah, I mean, I do like sports and stuff. So and I do like what football,
Yeah.
soccer for the North Americans. Although now it's crazy in North America because Messi's playing in Miami, so the tickets for MLS are going wild all over the place. So that's good.
Oh,
And I watch a lot of basketball. I still follow that. I just watched the FIBA tournament right now. Tennis as well.
oh, really?
Jokic won the 24th
Yeah.
24th slam, so I love that guy. And I'm an avid runner, so I run constantly. I just ran a marathon last week.
Come on, like an
And
actual 45K marathon?
yeah, I ran it last week, and then yeah, I ran marathon last week, and then I've run 6 half marathons this summer. So I just keep
What?
I just keep pretty busy. Yeah, and
Holy
then
man.
I cycle. I have to get better at my swimming, so that's my next 6-month goal is the swimming, to improve my swimming, so I can.
Wow. So are you
Here
in
in
the
town, there's an Ironman. I'd love to try and doing that. So
That's crazy, dude. So you're in the best shape of your life, like present
I
day.
take care. I like to take care of myself. I think it's just fun. It's great. I love being outside. Like we live right behind this like little, like it's not little, but we live behind a forest. So even today I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna go trail running. I went trail running and there's moose running around and it's really nice. So
Great, man. And how's
yeah.
your golf game? Like, do you get out much? Because I know
I've
a lot of
played,
musicians
if I
do.
tell you this, you're gonna laugh, but I've played golf a few times, but I've played in New Zealand and in Wales. Those are the only 2 places I've played in. So I went down to New Zealand to visit a mate, and then he's like, "Oh, you have to play golf." I'm like, "Okay." So we went down, and it was great. And we actually had proper lessons. And then I went to visit him again in the UK. We were in Wales, and we played on a course there. But
Yeah.
I haven't gone back again. But what's huge here is disc golf. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So good. Hey.
Frisbee, yeah. So I got one. I have a disc, but I haven't tried it at all. I'm really kind of I just like it's pretty much cycling and running. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Well, that's all
That's
I
all I
have.
can do.
Yeah.
Just drop a mortal man to his knees.
Yeah, yeah, that's all I do. I
That's
run
all I
like,
do.
at least 50 kilometers a week, and then, I
That's
cycle.
crazy, dude. Crazy.
So.
All right, JC, I'm going to respect your time, man. I'll ask you a couple
Oh, no,
more
no worries.
and we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
It's not a question. I want you to share a story with us, a near-death story where you're like, holy shit, I could have just died there.
I don't know if I have any just to think of it. I mean, you could die any day.
Right.
It's all in your mind, how you think about it. Like I kind of
Nothing's coming to, yeah.
our bodies are going to cease to exist, and we are going to just, we're going to continue, and people's memories of us are going to be, just what our soul carries on to them. So yeah, I can't think of one particular instance.
Yeah, fair. Of course, you've had an incredible career. Could you nail it down to one career highlight?
The gig in Huntington Beach, man. You just got to make sure you love those moments. The one I was telling you about, like, the last one you do where you just never know. It's every day what you do something. You just got to, you're not working towards something. You are existing in it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, and for me, this is not a hobby or a pastime. This is my life and I treat it accordingly. And, you always have to be kind and gracious to everybody around you. And that's the boomerang in the universe. It'll come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's one other thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Go for it. I'm not pressed for time, so by all
Okay, I
means.
was told 20. Okay, so
Yeah. No.
we're good.
No. By
Okay,
all means.
okay. So the one thing I've always wanted to talk to you about this, and maybe we have in the past, but or you've been with the band since the beginning, but you've had like
Yeah.
I don't know how many drummers.
Mhm.
Maybe talk about that, like the difference of playing, even though they're all playing the same songs. It's just a
Yeah,
different
there's
vibe.
definitely there's different drummers have had different techniques and methods of playing, and Rich has been the longest tenured drummer now, so he's been great, and we've been very prolific with him at the drum behind the drum kit, and prior to Rich there was Adam Willard was playing with us, and
Yeah.
Adam in Offspring and Angels and Airwaves, and we were huge fans of his band Rocket from the Crypt, and right now he's playing in I think he was playing in Against Me, now he's in Alkaline Trio, so he's one of those guys
Oh,
kind
wow.
of going all over the place, so his style was different, but everyone's style is different. But at the end of the day, it's the songs are what they are, and
Mm-hmm.
they're we're if the drum setup for Danko Jones is really three drums, kick, snare, and a cowbell. That's it. There's no toms or anything like that. There's a floor tom, but it's just really like kick drums, floor tom, and a snare. Those are the three drums, and the cowbell.
Yeah,
So
and it
it's
works.
very bare, and I think it's more of less of what you can play with the kit to really have the songs move.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a big reader? What are you reading right now?
Right now, I'm reading an Italian book on it's folklore stories for children. It's
Oh,
a big anthology by yeah. So that's what I'm reading.
uh, do you read rock autobiographies?
Not so much. There's been a few. I mean, there's been some great ones that, of course, over the years. One of my favorite ones is Duff's autobiography. That's a great one.
I've heard
Duff
that's
McKagan.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a great writer, great guy, and he's just him, and also another extremely talented writer is Barrett, the drummer from
Screaming Trees.
Screaming Trees, yeah, and he's was in a band with Duff as well. So we got to tour with them and found out that Barrett's an extremely very talented writer. So
Yeah.
he goes in
Did,
depth.
did you ever hear the stuff that Barrett was doing with a band called Patron?
I probably have. Yeah.
If you haven't checked that out, man,
Yeah.
some really
He's a
good
great
stuff.
guy,
Very
Barrett.
very Queens of the Stone Age. Very
Yeah,
very
he's
like that
just
style.
incredible drummer, but just such a nice dude, down to earth, and very, very clever dude. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And of
but
course, Duff McKagan's bass. I mean, as you're a bassist, like he has some
yeah, the
crazy parts. Like
Duff's a great
holy
guy. I mean, it
boy.
was pretty funny because we were touring with, we did a bunch of shows with Loaded, and we were in Australia, and then we were all over the US with them. So it was really cool to hang out with Duff, and and then at that time we were also ended up doing touring with Guns N' Roses in 10 different countries as well. But Duff wasn't playing with them. It was Tommy Stinson, which is still fucking great.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They've all
I
got
love those
stories.
guys. Yeah. But yeah, it's great that Duff's back in there, and yeah, he's an awesome dude.
Yeah, well, that's great. What's the rest of 2023 looking like for you guys?
Right now we have tomorrow. Actually, I'm off to Berlin. We do a week of promo, so we're doing a couple of days in Germany, where we're doing a bunch of radio and press, and then we do some radio shows, and then we fly to Helsinki to do one radio show, and then we're in Stockholm for 3 days doing press and stuff. Then we come back, have a few weeks off. Then we do a couple of shows in Ontario, Toronto, Waterloo, and oh my God, I can't remember. And another place in Ontario.
Just a whirlwind of activity.
Yeah, and then back here, and then we have another like 3 weeks off. That's when I'm going to go home for a week to visit my mother, and then we do the big almost 6 week European tour from November to December, and then next year we pick out it again, and then it's just more touring, and hopefully we get more Canadian dates and come out to the West Coast and do a bunch of. Pretty much long overdue from a proper Canadian run.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, looking forward to everybody hearing your new album, Electric Sound.
Nice one. Thank you so much.
This Friday, September 15th. You guys never fail to deliver, my friend. Pumped for you guys, man. What an exciting time for your band. You're at Calabrese John on Instagram. Your band is Danko_Jones. How much did that bug you guys to not be able to get straight up Danko Jones?
I think it straight up Danko is like some weed.
It's some weed.
So that they're winning. I don't know. It's just
like what? Come on.
Yeah, I don't think we care that much, to be honest. It's there. It's now people know what it is, and
the underscore is there.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, John. I appreciate it, man.
Okay, nice one, man. Nice one.
Yeah, really dig your band, man. You know that. Like I said, I've talked to Danko many times, and it's great to see you and to get your stories, your perspective of being in this awesome band. So, very cool. Nice one, have a great day, and say hi to Danko, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, we'll do. Okay, take care.